Okay, so as expected, Jerome Powell went ahead and raised interest rates 75 basis points. And we've been talking about this for a while. And we predicted this. A number of other economists have predicted this. Other prepper channels have talked about the likelihood that interest rates would head higher. And so it's come to pass. And this is only going to make debt more and more expensive. It's going to make everything cost more for the average American. We've got so many crises going on, and there's something that I'm really, really concerned about that I want to share with you guys. And I'm watching more and more people sit idly by, and they don't even realize what's about to happen to them and to their families. So I hope that you are paying very close attention to what I'm about to tell you guys. We've got some really unusual conditions that are building up. Almost setting up to be like a perfect storm. You've got droughts in many parts of the United States right now, specifically the West, the Midwest, creating potential hydroelectricity availability problems, blackouts, outages, electrical grid issues where basically the electricity companies are needing to create blackouts in order to preserve the integrity and overall sustainability of their electrical grid, because there's more demand than the electricity provider, the utility company, can provide. So you may find yourself losing power on one of the hottest days of the year. We had a massive heat wave affect the East Coast. Number of different people commented in previous videos and even emailed me letting me know about how bad it was up and down the East Coast. And more importantly, more specifically, the Northeast experienced such a heat wave. We're seeing droughts taking places in deserts. Now, many people are saying that this could be due to a number of different factors. Obviously, it could be due to a number of different factors. Some people are saying it could be due to climate change, and this is why, or at least part of why, the Biden administration is pushing toward this whole clean energy initiative, electric vehicles, EVs, solar energy, wind power energy. Whether or not that's the direction to go, you guys have voiced your opinions before. I'm sure you'll voice your opinions in the comments down below. Is that really the way to go? Is that really why Biden is pushing for these different initiatives? But some people are even saying like it's a biblical thing. This is I've seen a lot of your comments saying that, oh, okay, it was in the good book that all of this would happen. And whatever the case is changes are happening, and we're seeing more and more change, and the change is happening so rapidly. In fact, I was watching a video from Kevin. Some of you guys know him as Kevin Prepper, Kevin SHTF. He was mentioning that Michelle on her channel, Preparing for Survival, I don't know if he mentioned that it was a post or if it was a video that he saw that she put up, but basically someone had called for a Lyft or an Uber. A lot of people doing side hustles, generating income, or at least used to use Lyft and Uber ride-sharing services as a form of side hustle, a part-time job to increase your income. They said that when the vehicle showed up to pick them up, it was driverless. It was a driverless, automated, self-driving vehicle that picked them up. I don't know if it was Uber or for Lyft, but whatever the case was, is they're taking our jobs. They're taking what used to be a side hustle, what used to be a full-time gig for a lot of people. These gigs, some of these gigs are going away. Some of these jobs are going away. We're seeing inflation hit heights that we've not seen in 40 years, and I'm afraid it's headed higher, especially when you look at the cycle that's at play. A lot of people don't look at the cycle, and the cycle is, okay, yeah, whether or not stimulus checks caused inflation or whatever, let's not argue that there was some impact. I'm not saying it was the cause. I'm just saying anytime you throw a rock in the or a pebble in the lake, there's a ripple. So I'm not going to say that there's zero effect, because there's always an effect, right? Now, what was the effect and to what extent the effect was, I really won't attempt to even try to argue that or try to explain that one. But the point is we've got inflation, and we're seeing the Fed raise interest rates in an attempt to lower the cost of goods, staple goods. CPI inflation sitting at 9.1%. Multiple interest rate hikes have occurred, and inflation has continued to hike higher. But here's the scarier part. The scarier part is part of the inflation is due to companies trying to remain profitable, and that's in the face of employees needing and deserving raises. Regardless of what Mitch McConnell says, Americans do need raises. Americans do need more money. And with that being said, as these businesses incur higher and higher expenses through higher costs to acquire goods, the cost of goods themselves, the transportation of the goods, these companies are having to pay more for salaries. Almost every company you see in the stock market right now, S&P 500 is rallying, Dow Jones is rallying right now, NASDAQ stocks are rallying right now, and they have been rallying all this week. Even after Fed Chair Jerome Powell raised interest rates, the stock market is up. But every one of those jobs, every one of those companies on the stock market is facing a challenge right now, and the challenge is trying to keep employees satisfied because they need a workforce still. But as soon as they can get rid of that workforce, they're going to do it. And we're seeing it with Lyft, we're seeing it with Uber. And if you work in an environment, if you work in a company where where your position could be eliminated through automation in the next 7 years, and you need to sit down and think about this, your family depends on you. You need to know, is your job going to be here for you in 7 years? And if you don't know, you need to do some serious research, you need to do some serious homework, you need to seriously start educating yourself and prepare, because preparation is going to be what your family is going to depend on. Your family's livelihood is going to be largely based on how well you're prepared. And driverless cars, I don't even want to say it's just the start. We've been seeing this happen, and it's just the rate of adoption for automation and AI is going to continue to accelerate as companies continue to have to pay higher and higher salaries just to keep people working, because a lot of people don't want to come back to work. And I'm not saying that's everybody, but there's a lot of people who have not come back to work for various reasons. Either A, they figured out a side hustle or some kind of online business, or maybe they started a small business. Maybe they've put together enough gig work to sustain themselves that they don't need a traditional job telling them what to do. But the case, and another thing is that some of these companies, they either A, can't afford to pay people enough to want to come back to work, or they're just not offering enough. Whatever the case is, some people are not coming back to work, and positions have not yet been filled. And the more raises need to be provided, the more a company will have to pay people just to get them to take the job, the higher the prices of goods and services will have to go. And there's this cycle. So the cycle is, what we're seeing here is AI and robotics are taking away jobs, they're eliminating jobs. But we're also seeing this shift, and you guys got to be prepared, because it's going to hit the fan. And you have to see it coming. AI is replacing jobs. Look at banks, look at bank tellers. The teller has been essentially eliminated, and it has been replaced by a remote person who manages the physical ATMs that are now your interface whenever you walk inside of a bank. You got AI job automation. I mean, you got jobs that most people felt like, oh no, my job is secure, you'll never be able to do this. And look, your Uber might not even have a person in it when it comes to pick you up. Your Lyft car might not have someone in it when it comes to pick you up. Kevin and Preparing for Survival, Michelle, they were at a restaurant not too long ago, and their server was a robot on wheels that deliver their food and drinks. So even waiters and waitresses are being eliminated. Now, this whole debate around, whether or not AI is going to automate jobs away is definitely heating up. And, the AI critics are claiming that these statistical models, they lack the creativity and the intuition that human workers have. But the truth is that repetitive tasks, the more repetitive the task is, the easier the job is to be automated. The easier the human is to be eliminated. And if you can eliminate a human from performing a job, from performing a task, then you could potentially eliminate that cost. So as you're having to pay more and more people, more and more salary, more and more income, the companies are having to raise their prices for their goods. And then eventually the consumer is complaining, hey, goods are too high, I need a raise, because of inflation, because of the rate that goods and services are going up is exceeding the rate that your income is going up. And so everyone and their mom then demands a raise, or they quit and then they go somewhere else that will pay them more, and the cycle continues. Hey, I need more money. I get more money. Okay, well, the company that paid you more money is now needing to raise their prices. And basically the cycle continues. Prices keep rising, income keeps rising. It's going to get to a point where you're going to need you're going to have to make like $125 an hour just to get by. And I don't know if it's going to go that far. But the point is, what is a living wage? How much should minimum wage be? Some people say, oh, it needs to be at least $15 an hour. Oh, it needs to be at least $20 an hour. It needs to be at least $30. I don't know what it should be. But the point is the living wage and the requirement for a living wage is going to continue to go higher and higher and higher unless something breaks the cycle. But I don't see that breaking anytime soon. I was reading an article that Japan has robots that fix other robots. So you want to talk about automation? Most people felt like, okay, well, automation could very well take over and eliminate a number of different jobs, but I'll just be the guy that fixes the robots when they break. And Japan has basically eliminated that role with robots that fix broken robots. So really interesting. But I want to encourage you guys, if you're seeing this, if you're seeing automation, you're seeing automation anytime you go into Kroger, anytime you go into Walmart, anytime you go into Aldi's, any of these self-checkouts, Target. If you see a self-checkout, that's automation right there. When you see one person, rather than a cashier, you see like one person standing, observing the self-checkout systems. That one person used to man one cashier, one checkout lane. Now this one person can man 6, 8, 10 lanes, probably even more depending upon how busy the store is and how many potential problems their system has. And as these systems continue to evolve and the algorithm gets smarter and they have less reason for an individual to need to intervene, that means that one person could manage more and more and more, creating fewer and fewer jobs, or I should say taking away more and more jobs. So, I just want to highly encourage you, as you're preparing, as you're prepping, as you're, gathering your supplies, ask yourself, are you prepared to survive, to continue to generate income for you and your family through your job, through your current skill set? And if you've evaluated your skill set, you got to ask yourself, okay, is my job really sustainable for the next 7 years? If it's questionable, or if the answer is no, you need to really strongly think about, okay, well, what other skills can I acquire now in order to prepare myself for the future? Because the future's coming. Whether you want to deny it or not, it is what it is. And the last thing you want is to wake up one morning 5, 6, 10 years from now and say to yourself, oh man, I just got a letter that my job is being eliminated and I can't do anything else that's going to pay me. or at least pay you enough to survive. And so the wisest thing to do would be to start acquiring the skills you're going to need now, and basically upgrade yourself now before you have to, because you will have to if you find yourself in one of these roles where, you know, the job is going to inevitably be eliminated. You know, so you don't want to have to learn 100 different skills tomorrow, because that's going to be impossible. You don't want to be in a situation where, you know, hey, I got no options, me and my family. You know, you don't want to be in that situation. So the time to act is now. You know, creating side hustles, creating online businesses, developing and learning new skills and trades that you could monetize in the future. Maybe not now, but they're going to pay off significantly greater returns in the future. If you can acquire these things now, you can, you know, build these assets. These are assets, guys. This is that economic preparedness that you need to have under your belt. So anyway, I don't want to draw this video out too much longer, but I wanted to share this message with you guys because big changes are coming. Amazon, Walmart, we're seeing it. More and more AI is coming. Jobs are going away. Cost of living is increasing. And if you and your family are not ready, it's not going to be real good for you. So if you made it this far in this video, drop a like for it. Consider subscribing to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.